So in this third version of running methods, we're going to take a further step up. In the first version of methods, we just had it, the method kind of ran on its own. We were printing saying hi. We modified that to take values in and then print based on that. The third thing that we want to do is we can take things in, but we can also send things back from our method. So I want to show you an example of something we've run into this issue in our class before, and that's integer division, right? When we divide an integer by an integer, we always get an integer out. We might want to write our own method that will take in two integers and then a um, return a double. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say public static. I'm going to skip over this for just one second. I'm going to call this integer. Let's say int division. It's going to be the name of my method. It's going to take in int value 1. It's going to take an int value 2. If you're watching closely, you might see up here I have num1 and num2. I'm really trying to make it a clear point that the names of these variables do not have to match the names of the variables inside our method. Right now, what we're doing is very similar to what we've done already. We're taking in some parameters. In this case, we're taking integers. Last time we took in strings. What we want to do here is we want to now be able to send something back. Okay, so that's where this comes into play. Typically, what we've seen so far is like public static void. We had public static void say hi. Now what we want to say is we want to send something back. Void means don't send anything back. This method is not designed to return something back to whoever calls it. But what we want to do here is we want to say this one is going to return a double. As soon as we change that so there's no longer void like it was in the previous one, we're now doing doubles. This could be strings, it could be integers. We need doubles because that's like the point of our thing, is to return a double from this integer division. As we look at this, you see it's going to be mad at me. It's got all these red squigglies. If you hover over it, you might see this error. Say this method must return a result of type double. So what that's saying is that your method isn't, you told me that Java saying you told me you're going to return a double, but right now you're not doing that. So I'm mad at you. You got to return a double you promised. So we can say something like, so for example, we can make Java happy by saying just return negative 1.0. You can see it's no longer mad at us. The key word here is return. This is going to send back. This method is going to send something back. It's going to return something. Right now, by default, we're just going to say negative 1.0 just so it's not mad at us. Let's take a look at this. I think we'll come into making this more useful. Let's say what we could do with this. We could say something like, well, we could do something like south int division, and we could pass in num1, num2. Num1 is going to go into here, num2 is going to go into here, and then right now it's just going to send back negative 1. So when we run this, we'll see. It's just going to return negative 1 to us, right? Because we're not actually doing anything. The key thing here is, though, the system out print is not happening inside of here. This method is doing the math, sending it back, and the print is happening here. We could do other things, like we could say maybe, let's say double result is equal to int division num1, num2, right? So now we are passing values in, doing something with it, and then returning it and storing that value. And then we could say something like Sal, your answer was result. Okay, we run that now, and we see your answer was negative 1. All right, let's make this a little bit better, right? So we've talked about kind of what this is going to do. Let's actually do the math in here. All we need to say is, I might make a variable called answer, um, and that's going to be equal to, we'll say, what do we want to just divide value 1 by value 2. So we can say 1.0 times value 1 divided by value 2, oops, value 2, and now we're going to send back answer. Okay. Run this, and now we can see our math is actually working. Our answer was 3.2. So that's a way we could make our code a little bit more useful. Just running a method, then we're taking in values, and now we're able to send values back. I think one last thing I should talk about here before I finish this video is any variables that are visible inside of these brackets, anything that's created inside of these brackets is only visible inside of here. So main, like for example, num1, num2 are only visible inside of the main method. They are declared inside these brackets. They're only visible in there. If I tried to say something like sout num1, for example, for some reason, so that cannot be resolved to a variable. And that's because we declared it inside of the main. We can't see in one method stuff that was declared in another. Similarly, we couldn't say something like sout answer, right? We don't have access to that variable. We need to send something back in order to get access to that variable. So that's a really key point that's going to come up in your code. Okay, we'll definitely talk more about that. That's an idea called scope, SCOPE. But for now, I hope this is enough information to get you finished up with your last TMC assignments.